One of the big feelings that you might be experiencing right now is, of course, anxiety and the emotions that can come along with feeling anxious or worried or afraid. And these can pop up in a lot of different areas. So I think, some folks might be feeling anxious about getting sick or a loved one getting sick. You might start to feel worried if you start to experience those common symptoms that we're hearing about going around. You might also be feeling some anxiety around the reopening that's starting to occur across our city and our campus and our community, and some worry about what that might mean for the progression of COVID-19 as we head into the future. The reality is that all of this is completely new and uncertain. And there was really no way to have exactly prepared for what we're going through right now, or to know exactly what's coming next. And so all of that uncertainty really makes it prime conditions to be feeling some anxiety right now. I think additionally, we might sometimes find ourselves in the sad, um, helpless or kind of hopeless or depressed kind of state, especially, because of the impacts of physical distancing and not being able to do the things that we were used to doing, hang out with friends, or be able to get out of the house as much as we might have been used to. We can also potentially be feeling disconnected from others, even with our greatest efforts at staying in touch with folks by phone or text or FaceTime or Zoom. I think many of us are feeling the difference in that virtual connection as compared to the way that we feel when we connect with folks in person. And so that can lead us to feel lonely or disconnected, um, and um, and just again, kind of helpless to be able to do anything about that right now. Another kind of part of the spectrum that we might find ourselves on is on the angry or irritable side of things. So, um, I am hearing about folks and have even experienced some of this myself of feeling, angry at others who might not be following the physical distancing guidelines that we're being recommended to do, or if I'm perceiving that someone else is kind of being careless or nonchalant about what's happening, while I'm feeling very like anxious and cautious, and the frustration that can come along with maybe um, not being able to control what others do or like influence what other people are doing. So anger is a feeling that can be coming up for us right now. I think it can also surface um, for those of us who might be cooped up with people that we're not used to spending as much time around. Um, so that can cause tension in our relationships or in our families because we're spending so much more time together, um, and leading us to feel a little more irritable. The next big feeling that I think is coming up a lot right now is grief. And truthfully, grief is a feeling that is so much bigger than how we might traditionally think of it as relating to like losing someone. Because I think the truth is that we're all experiencing some kind of grief right now, whether we've lost out on experiences or plans or expectations, even just like losing a sense of control over our environment or a sense of safety in the world because we have this invisible pandemic that's circulating around our communities. So all of these different experiences can show up as grief, and just a general kind of unsettledness or like discomfort with ourselves and even in our bodies. And then the last feeling that I wanted to acknowledge is feelings of guilt, which can be surprising for some folks, when it pops up for us. But there are different scenarios where we might be feeling guilty, whether that's feeling guilty for our health while other people are not as healthy, or for some of the relative privileges that we might be able to experience compared to other folks. Um, for instance, for like myself, I have the ability to work from home, but I know that for other folks, that's not a possibility, and they're having to make the choice between their health and their livelihood. And so that can bring up feelings of guilt. I think oftentimes these can show up as some of those should statements in our head to ourselves about what we think we should be doing or how we should be feeling, when it's different from what we're actually experiencing in the moment. So these are some of the common ones, but it's certainly not a comprehensive list. I think one of the things that can make our feelings so complicated is that they're complex, and we can feel more than one thing, not just in any given day, but also at any given time. And so, what I'd like to encourage everyone to do is to just check in on ourselves, to check in with ourselves regularly, to ask how we're really feeling for real, not the standard like I'm good or I'm fine, but to really ask ourselves how we're feeling. And that can be a bigger task than what it sounds like, especially if we haven't grown up with, or we aren't around others who encourage emotional expression, or only allow certain feelings to be experienced. Like, you can only show when you're happy or when you're feeling good, but not so much room to be open about feeling angry or sad or disappointed or anxious. Or we've seen emotions be used to kind of control other people, like explosions of anger, for example. So lots of things in our experience can make our relationship to our feelings kind of complicated. And so I want to encourage us to give ourselves that space to check in, and that can help us develop some emotional intelligence, some emotional awareness with ourselves, and then eventually being able to extend that to others. So lots of good stuff around the feelings. Okay, and then the next thing that I wanted to just kind of highlight, I really like this graphic because I think it normalizes a lot of what we're all going through right now, and just kind of serves to validate those responses that we're having, while remembering that, again, because we can feel multiple things at once, like this first little block talks about. We can feel many feelings all at the same time, even if it might feel a little contradictory. So in the moment, I might be, feeling grateful to have the opportunity to kind of slow down, but also worried for the future. Like, both of those feelings, even though they seem a little conflicting, can exist at the same time. It's okay to feel anxious for your health and for the health of people that you care about. Again, to feel afraid or worried, and to have ups and downs during this kind of unknown extended time that we've been experiencing. So you might find that some days feel a little bit better than others, and might have a hard time identifying why. I think that can take us back to the helpfulness of the check-in, to see what might be happening within us that's giving me these ups and downs, but to know that we're going to have those, and a degree of that is completely normal to experience. It's also okay to just go easy with yourself. I think this is a time, I know for me, that I've had to adjust some of the expectations I usually have of myself, especially around productivity, because we're dealing with a global crisis. So having some compassion for ourselves, having some grace about how we're doing and what we're capable of accomplishing right now, I think can go a long way in battling some of the self-criticism that we might experience. And um, and then I think going along with that is to have that compassion regarding the physical limitations that we have right now. And to remember that as challenging as those do feel in the moment, these are also temporary measures that we'll be able to lift eventually. One way to help with the anger and frustration is number 6, to recognize that we're only in control of ourselves and what we do. And sometimes remembering what's in our control can help us to relieve some of the frustration that we might feel towards others because out of our inability to control what they do. That's a tough one. Giving ourselves the space to grieve all the different kinds of losses that we're experiencing, as well as that space to talk about it with people who you feel emotionally safe with. With folks in your support system who can hold those emotions for you, who can do so without judgment or without necessarily rushing to offer you advice. And it's okay to use this time to also find some meaning or reconnect with some passions. If you find yourself having some more downtime than usual, thinking about what opportunities this might give you to re-experience some of the things that maybe you didn't have so much time or attention to devote to before this. And then finally, knowing that the future is uncertain gives us a chance to take things little day by day, remain hopeful where we can, while also giving ourselves that room to feel how we feel, even if it's maybe not so hopeful in a moment. So I like this because it feels pretty comprehensive, kind of covers the whole landscape. But I'm also looking forward to maybe having a little bit of discussion on this as we continue in our time together today. So I am going to click over and hand it over to Victoria.
Hi, everyone. So what I'm going to be talking about is kind of going off of what Ms. Laura Zavala Membreno has mentioned, discussing one that we need to acknowledge that we have feelings that are maybe feelings of uncertainty or multiple types of feelings, and that's okay to have those feelings. And this area is going to discuss some of the actions we can associate to alleviate some of those concerns. So the first one, as I know you've seen through the presentation, also maybe different areas like social media or friends, just like overall acknowledging that it's okay not to be okay. And really thinking about that statement to understand that, yes, it's okay to feel multiple feelings, to feel uncertain, to feel maybe in some cases, like if, for example, if you're feeling grateful that you have stable income or something like that, but also being upset to know that you don't know what's next in your career or collegiate endeavors. It's okay to have different types of feelings. An action that I recommend is creating a daily schedule. So to create a schedule of, it doesn't have to be every minute of every day, but maybe every hour or every 2 hours or so, just having it written down to where you can show what you want to try and be productive with, whether it's doing summer classes or you're finishing work or doing chores around the house, a lot of different things. It helps promote productivity. However, also keep in mind that just because you write it down doesn't mean you always have to do everything that's on your list. I would say that, let's say there's something that you can kind of be flexible with, such as maybe you don't have to clean out your entire closet today. Maybe that's something you kind of wanted to try and then you decided you got too tired or you were wanting to do other things. Give yourself the grace and compassion to put that away for the rest of the day and then start over again tomorrow or another day. Just because we do know like our energy levels are still trying to get adjusted to the pandemic and being at home and maintaining social distancing, so we may not have as much energy to do as much as we had originally been able to do. Number 3 talks about continuing to maintain healthy habits, like you're eating healthy foods, you're exercising, some type of journaling or meditating. These are just a few examples of healthy habits. I would like to see if y'all can share some of the other types of healthy habits that you all have available so we can discuss those as well. A big part of what I've been doing is trying to maintain like a food diary, just because I know I have more time at home. However, I do understand that not everyone's going to be doing that type of thing. That's just my example of how I've been able to maintain a healthier habit to watching what I eat, versus if I see a bunch of snacks written out on my journal, I'm like, okay, maybe I need to lay out the snacks for tomorrow, stuff like that. And then number 4 is picking up a new hobby. So there's different things that people have been doing to pass the time. I know video games is a big one, Netflix, Hulu. Some students who previously maybe had done crocheting or wanted to crochet in the past have been doing that. Doing puzzles, picking up a new instrument, a bunch of different YouTube videos, just trying to like emphasize that extra crafting aspect. Also, a new one that I've noticed is a lot of people are making TikTok videos. And so I love that, because you can also promote like dancing, or you can show different meals that you're making, or provide different like political or personal standpoints and have discussions in a quick manner with other people on those type of areas. And then number 5 discusses making time for virtual interactions with friends. So I know it's not the same as a face-to-face interaction, giving someone a hug or something like that, but hopefully that gives you some type of comfort to know that you still can FaceTime, Zoom, Skype with your friends. I also noticed that there's some virtual interactions, so Pictionary, so playing a game together with your friends and family is also really fun to do. It's like, again, it's not to say that it's going to take over face-to-face contact and interactions, but at least it'll help pass by the time, make you provide hopefully some type of comfort. And last but not least, going off of that, talking to somebody about how you're feeling. It can be a family member, a friend, a professional, or all 3, or only one. It's kind of up to you. I guarantee at this point in time, like, you're not, whatever feelings that you're having, you aren't the only one. And not to say that, not to minimize those feelings, but to acknowledge that there are other people going through that same or similar situation. And it can promote a sense of solidarity with everybody. Okay, so here are a few apps that I've seen coming up more and more often on social media and online, and some I've done some research on to just check and see what's the new type of technology people can be using. So Chipper is an app that you can use to help organize your schedule, provide a to-do list, and it creates a planner all in one app. I do know that students have the Blackboard option available if you're going to be taking any type of classes in the summer or the fall or spring. But this is one that you can use year-round, to where you can manage even day-to-day tasks in addition to your classroom tasks. So Calm is a big one that I've also seen on TV a lot. And I think it's really helpful in that you're able to not only receive like meditation or relaxing sounds and different techniques in that way, but there's also an option where someone can provide that auditory experience and do storytelling, which I thought was really cool. And they even have some that are different themes. So one that I've seen was like a Disney theme. So it can have different types of stories that you can hear from different perspectives. And then the last one that I've seen recently was the MyFitnessPal, which I know has been around for a while. But like I talked about nutrition, that stuff previously, you can do a food diary, a calorie counter, calculate your macros, and then also it provides you different exercise ideas in addition to stuff that you would see on YouTube. This one's more catered to what your overall goals are. Okay, so going along with all the different resources I recently provided, I just wanted to give an overview of what UEP has to offer. So we provide opportunities for students in our diverse student population at the University of Houston. What we do is we provide a bunch of student success resources to help prevent major setbacks for degree achievement. So what does that mean? We provide holistic advising. There's 5 different components that students will receive advising for. It could be academic, financial, civic leadership, career, and personal advising. So anything that falls in those categories we can help address, whether it's needing community resources or trying to find a different resource on campus or talking with us to see how we can alleviate academic issues. Those are all different types of things we can help with. Also, we do free student workshops such as today, partnering with different campus resources such as CAPS. We also partner with Launch, CDI, Dean of Students, and a bunch of different areas, so that way we can help provide you all as students the most information that's beneficial for your academic and personal career. Also, we do referrals, like I said, to on-campus and community resources. So if, for example, we notice that someone needs extensive assistance with resumes, while we'll provide it in our office, like a brief overview, we can also direct them to career services. And that's just one example of how we partner with other campus resources to give you all the best information possible. And last but not least, UEP does offer scholarship opportunities. We recently had a scholarship deadline open up again. So if you're interested in hearing more about the UEP scholarship and what the eligibility criteria is, feel free to email me. Or you can also look at the bottom of the screen and it shows the UEP website, which also includes some of the stipulations for the scholarship or any additional information. This is our phone number, the 713-743-6032. And the email that we have is the uepuh@central.uh.edu.
All right, and before we go ahead and open it up and jump into some questions and discussions, just wanted to take a moment to share, in case you might not be as familiar with what resources we offer through CAPS. So at CAPS, we are your mental health provider on campus. We provide a whole range of services designed to support students in their mental and emotional well-being, because we are strong believers that that mental health is a vital component to being successful academically. So we offer, again, just a variety of different things, because we also recognize that different people need different things at different times. So I think, most often when folks hear about counseling or therapy, they think about individual counseling. And while that is something that we do, we also provide a lot of other ways to receive some support that, depending on what's happening at the time, could potentially be a better fit. And so here you'll see a breakdown of what we provide, including brief individual and couples therapy. We also provide something called single session therapy, which is a new service that's really designed to help folks problem solve a particular issue in one session with a therapist, because sometimes you just need a little extra support or an outside perspective in helping to deal with something specific. And a single session can be a great way to get those things knocked out in one visit, where you feel equipped to handle that from the moment you leave. We also offer group therapy as a way to connect with other students who are dealing with some similar things, or be able to work on some goals that are a little more interpersonal or relational in nature. We are looking to add some format of group support for our fall semester, while keeping in mind some of the health guidelines for everyone. So please do keep up with us through our phone number or through our website and social media to know what offerings we will have. Our groups are temporarily suspended for the summer. We also offer some workshops. During the main semesters, those typically take the form of workshops for depression and for anxiety that are designed to equip you with some tools in order to deal with those emotions in your day-to-day. While we are not currently offering our anxiety or depression workshops, we have modified them into a Zoom format that covers a variety of different topics, including anxiety, stress management, things like relationship difficulties, and a whole bunch of other things. We're actually just now getting ready to launch a new series of our online workshops for the summer, and we'll be promoting those through our website and our social media. Those are always free for students to jump in on. And importantly, we do offer crisis intervention. So if someone is finding themselves in a really difficult place, you have access to a counselor any time of the day or night or weekend. That is 24 hours, and it's available just by calling our phone number. For folks who want a bit more of an informal check-in with a counselor, we also offer something called Let's Talk, which is a more casual way to address some concerns with a counselor and get some resources or some support, um, or some help with figuring out some next steps. Let's Talk is a great way to do that. Those are brief, informal visits, and they're currently available every day from 3 to 4, just by calling our number. And then lastly, we're very passionate about outreach services to our campus and providing preventative mental health education and training. And one of our popular offerings is our Question, Persuade, Refer suicide prevention training. That is currently being offered virtually through the month of June. So if you want to know more about the warning signs of suicide, how to step in to support someone who might be exhibiting some of those signs, and where to get them referred, you can learn all of that in a 1-hour training through our QPR. And that's free. We encourage folks to sign up for that to learn more. So currently, we are accessible by phone. You'll see our phone number down here. You also will see our website, and that's a way to get a lot more information about our services, as well as receive the most up-to-date info on what we're offering. So do encourage folks, when you have a moment, to visit that and browse through what we've got up there. And we do promote all of our events and updates on social media. So please do follow us on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram to see what we're doing and know what new programs are available.